Alright guys, this is my third vlog about the Honda CBR500R, and it's not quite daylight, but it's not quite night either. It's kind of almost dusk actually. Anywho, I have the high beam on just for added visibility while I ride, because otherwise sometimes they just simply don't see you. And here's a safe rule of thumb for all potential riders or newbie riders out there. Always assume they can't see you. If you make that assumption and you make sure that you have a clear exit in the event that they don't see you, you are going to save yourself a lot of trouble and possibly your own life. So I highly recommend that. Second, if I do sound funny, it's because I still have my helmet on. That's all. I'll turn it around and show you here. So, yeah, as you can see, still got my helmet on. I got the dark tint because I was riding all summer, or at least the end of summer, and as a result, I don't like wearing sunglasses inside of my helmet. So I have two visors, one that is tinted and one that is not. And I highly recommend having two visors too, specifically for that purpose. I literally just got off the bike after riding for a little bit and decided, you know what, I'm gonna make my third vlog now. So I am up to, if you look at the dash here, yeah, I am up to 95 miles so far on the total, and I finally got the time indicator fixed on it. It was in the correct time before, now it's the correct time. So I pulled out the manual, dusted her off, and read exactly how to do that. I'm noticing that as I continue to ride and working hard on breaking her in, if you can hear it, it sounds a little deeper even now at idle. So she sounds a little meaner already, and that's because if you use a hard break-in method, you typically squeeze out a little extra horsepower. It sounds a little bit meaner, and it's actually, in my opinion, better for the bike because you're gonna set the seal in the engine correctly. Whereas if you use the baby method or the manual way of breaking in your bike, then it's not going to have as much performance, and it's not going to have as much fuel efficiency, and is honestly not even going to sound any meaner because obviously you're not getting that added performance, and you might not get the piston rings set in correctly. So it's not, when it comes out the exhaust, you might get some blowback from the engine in the exhaust. So it's just not healthy for the bike. So I always recommend a hard braking method, but not an insane braking method. So be very careful. I try not to exceed 7,000 RPM, and I do that for the safety of the engine. Now I do rev it to about 6,000 RPM per gear, and then I downshift, and I'll wait about till the tachometer goes down a little bit, maybe about halfway, and then I downshift so that I'm kind of engine braking it a little bit too. And when you engine brake it, it sets the seal in just right. So I'm going to go ahead and rev it for a little bit. It is getting late, like you saw there, it is 7 something, so I'm not going to go nuts, but I'll rev it a little bit for you guys. And this time I'll have it here. So as you can hear, yeah, she definitely sounds a little meaner now. And that's a direct result of the breaking in process. So, the beautiful dash. The front. and the side of the bike. Now, as you'll know, I absolutely love this bike. I would say this is definitely, so far, just absolutely blown me away. I honestly had so-so expectations. Expectation, that's the word I'm looking for. Expectations for this bike, simply because I knew it was a 500, but the actual cc's are 471. Now the reason for that, and why it's not a 499 like most 500 cc's or a 599 like 600 cc's, is because it had to meet the UK I believe is L2 learners restrictions. So what that means is that you can only deliver up to 47 horsepower at the rear wheel. So as a result, they kind of had to tune it down a little bit to make this bike a world bike. Now by a world bike, I mean this exact engine that they're using in this bike for the US market is the exact same engine that they're going to be using for the world market. So that means here, Asia, UK, wherever that Honda manages or plans to sell the CBR500R. So they make one kind of bike and then they can send it everywhere. That's kind of what they were trying to do. And it simplifies things on their end, and it kind of it makes everything kind of fair and even across the board, so that here in the States we don't have an overpowered bike, and in the UK they don't have an underpowered bike, or vice versa, what have you. But personally, I know they tuned it down a bit, but let me tell you, it still has plenty of torque, plenty of power for the streets, for the freeway. And for anyone, whether you're a beginner or you're like me and you're coming back to riding after not riding for a while, or moving up in class from, say, a 250 Ninja, or any other brand, to, you want to go up in class but you don't want to pay crazy insurance on a Super Sport 600, or simply can't afford a Super Sport 600 because they retail for anywhere between $12,000 to $14,000 MSRP. Does not include in the taxes, the freight, the delivery cost that it takes to send those things to each dealership around the world. So out the door, you're looking anywhere between $15,000, sometimes $16,000 or $17,000 for a Super Sport. Or you can go ahead and step up to the in-between, which is what I consider, this level of bike to be, a mid-range bike now. It's 500 cc's and has a top speed of 120 miles per hour. And that's if you really know how to really push the bike to its boundaries, and you have an aftermarket exhaust system. You have a full aftermarket exhaust, you increase an extra 2 horsepower, and you're able to hit that 120 top speed. Now some people might be saying 120, that's not that fast. So I'm like, have you ever been going 120 on a motorcycle? It is very fast, trust me. And even a Super Sport 600 only has a top speed of 160, and that's if you have a very, very good 600. So this is going to be just fine for almost anyone who is coming to riding motorcycles, especially if you're interested in the sport motorcycle lineup. So I'm loving it so far, and I know I haven't sat down and actually thought of what I'm going to say for a full review on the CBR500R, but when I have that information, I'll definitely make a video about it and post it here on YouTube for you guys to see, because I am learning more about the bike as I'm working with it, as I'm riding it, almost on a daily basis. I'll definitely give you and I'll definitely provide more information on that, and I won't sound so all over the place, because this is kind of an improv video, just doing it because I can. And I thought about it and said, hey, you know what, I'm gonna update my YouTube and my channel, and I'm gonna add another video, and that's the only reason why I'm making it right now. It has not been thought out well, it has not been written down, it has not been scripted. This is just me blabbering on. But anywho, when I do decide to make a review, it's going to be a lot more professional, more on point, and I'm going to hit all the bases that people really care about when you're learning about a motorcycle or you want a really good review on a motorcycle. Specs, general information, user experience, the works. So give me some time, guys. I'll sit down, I'll come up with something, and I'll post it. I'm sorry I don't have any actual footage of me riding the bike, and that's only because I don't currently have a GoPro camera. So I'm working on saving up and getting the money to get a GoPro so that I can mount it, and I'm thinking about mounting it right here, right on the tank, so you guys can kind of see from this perspective, you know, what I see when I'm riding around town. And I'll take you guys through my my normal commute to work and my everyday just kind of joyride. I got a little area around town that I like to just ride, and I'll show you guys all that. Another thing I'd like to address in this video is if you happen to be a rider yourself and you either live in the Marysville, Washington State area, or you ride through it or come to it at some point, and you'd like to go for a ride with me at some point, just let me know. Put it in the comments. And I'd like to find some more riding buddies. I don't really have any right now. I used to back in the day, but they've either lost their bikes, got kids, and don't ride anymore, or or moved away. So yeah, I'd like to go and meet some of you out there if you guys are riders, and let's go for a ride sometime. Alright, well, I think that's it for this particular video. If there's anything you guys want to know more about the bike that I didn't mention in this video or any of my other videos, or can't simply wait for the for the full review, including price, tax, freight, what I pay for the bike, all that stuff, then go ahead and put it in the comment section down there, and I'll do my best to answer your questions. Alright guys, well, I will talk to you later, and ride safe.